I don't know how this is gonna sound because I'm running on 4 hours of sleep. History is perhaps my most favorite subject yet, and I'm not just saying that to be a suck-up. I honestly find what we have done as humans incredibly fascinating, and even though this video is as a class project, I still had lots of fun making it. So, World War II, perhaps the most bloodiest war in the entire world, ranging around 70 million casualties. Let's talk about that. Specifically, the soldiers that fought in the war, and even more specifically, the ones that provided an effective form of communication for the United States military. I'm talking about the famous Navajo code talkers. And in this video, I'll be answering the 5 most important questions about these men. The who, the what, the when, the where, and the why. Using a code language is a very strategic move in war. You get to communicate with soldiers during battle and provide secret, beneficial information to your military without the other side knowing what the heck you're saying. But here's the thing, the other side can learn that secret code, and that's exactly what we see happen during the first few years in World War II. American soldiers tried to talk in code, but the Japanese had easily cracked their code and translated precisely what they're saying. In 1942, the US Army's solution to this was to recruit Native Americans to create a complex code system based on their native language. And believe it or not, this concept was actually used during World War I. Because history does what? So in 1942, the military began recruiting 29 Navajo code talkers from southern states like Oklahoma. Some were drafted and some enlisted. And this group of 29 Navajo Marines would go on to do great things. So, the Navajo code talkers were a pretty important part for the beginning of World War II. They created a really strong unwritten code system that only they can understand. They've created a series of terms based on their language that primarily focused on certain sounds that they made. For example, one word can mean many different things solely based on the pitch and tone it's set in. They used this code system in a variety of battles during World War II, and not once was it broken nor decoded by the enemy. The Navajo served for pretty much all of World War II, starting their service in 1942 and stopped when the war ended in 1945. Within those 3 years of service, around 500 Navajo troops had joined the Code Talker cause, thus benefiting the fight for America greatly. Some of the greatest battles that the Navajo fought in were the Battle of Iwo Jima in 1943 and the Great D-Day invasion of France. But I'm only going to be talking about the Battle of Iwo Jima and leaving the D-Day invasion to my good friend Izzy, who is also working on this project. In the Battle of Iwo Jima, the Navajo had to keep moving in order to keep the Japanese away from them while they were relaying messages back and forth. In chess, you always want to be a few steps ahead of your opponent, and the Navajo code talkers helped America do exactly that. They've allowed their military to be well informed on their enemy's actions and strategies so they can intercept the enemy swiftly and effectively. In fact, some soldiers actually say that if it weren't for the Navajo, they would have never captured Iwo Jima. So, the Navajo obviously lived in America and wanted to serve their country. And they did it in the best way that they could, by being unique. They made an amazing and efficient way of code talking for their country, and they really deserve to be honored. And I want to point out that National Code Talkers Day is August 14th. So make sure you're watching this video every year. Even though the original 29 code talkers have sadly passed on, there are still 3 brave Navajo men that fought in World War II that are still alive today. And those men are Peter McDonald, John Kensel Sr., and Thomas H. Begay. Thank you for your service. So the sources I used for this video were mainly .gov, .org, .edu websites, none of that .com stuff. Don't really trust that. Plus Wikipedia, no, and a little bit of Blooket. I obviously researched a little bit of the answers on Blooket before putting it in the video, so you can trust that it's reliable. I also used intelligence.gov and National World War II Museum.org. So check out those websites if you get the chance, and pretty much about it.